Well, hi there. How are you all? Good to see you. Ebor, Snake Plissken, Perfect Circle, Christy, James Green, and EJ. Welcome all. We got a few more here besides that. Nice to be with you. Don't know if Shelby will be up. I haven't heard from her. Hopefully she will. And we'll see her pop in momentarily. If you had a chance to check out, I put a video out yesterday. It's kind of an esoteric one, I guess. Didn't get a lot of play, but it was about two scientists who have put together the the technology and the scientific foundation for what we're doing with a food web deep substrate aquarium. Just a really interesting, I think, a really interesting video and a very interesting couple of ladies. They're PhDs. Let's see if I can find, if I can or not, probably somewhere. Let me look for it in a minute. Whoops. Well, there it is. It's Elaine Ingham and Diana Waltstead. Elaine Ingham, if you're not familiar with her, she works on the West Coast. It's primarily in Washington State and Oregon, working with farmers, small farms as well as large farms. And her focus is to develop a food web in essentially a no-till farming system that will provide the organics needed in order to be able to raise crops. They also have projects in Africa, South America, and the Far East. I think also in Asia. So they're global in their interest and in their focus, and they're really looking for ways to be able to return agriculture to its natural roots. And of course, that's precisely what Diana Waltstead has made an effort to do in the aquarium hobby. So I put these two together, just talk a little bit about both of them, kind of introduce them and make it possible for people to learn a bit more about them. And then go through very briefly the process of how I got to where I am with this whole project. Now, there they are. Very interesting ladies, remarkable research, and something that only a very few of us are taking advantage of. I don't know of any of the more popular YouTubers or the bigger YouTubers in the fish fam who are at all interested in this kind of work. Yet it is clearly the future of our hobby because it creates an environment that is as close as we can get to a natural environment. I make the claim that it is in fact a natural environment, that we can in fact create a natural environment. And I base that on the evidence that I have of hundreds of tanks that I maintained in my shop as natural aquariums for 15 years, and some of which I have brought here and I'm continuing to work with. Um, and by natural, I mean they may get an occasional water change, as any body of water does when it rains, or for that matter, when there's a flood, whatever. Um, but the substrate remains the same. Filtration, such as it is marginal, and food, to the best of my ability, is created naturally. So I don't know what else you need to do. Have sunlight on the tanks, I guess, in order for them to be more natural. My notion is the people who are saying that these tanks are not natural really have not done what they really don't know what they're talking about. They really have not tried to do this. They've not made an effort to create a natural aquarium. They're simply putting down something about which they're ignorant in order to be able to not have to try it for whatever reason. Snake Plissken, I have 1,000-gallon outdoor pond about 3 foot deep with deep substrate. I turned on the air stone about 2 weeks ago, 2 inches of leaf from the fall, and it's not very clear yet. It's probably tannin, Snake. If you have the dirt capped, then you should not be getting dirt that way. But you probably have tannins from the leaves. That doesn't mean it's not clear. It is clear. It simply is stained, if you will. But there likely is not much in the way of particulate matter in, unless the air stone has swirled things up. That's certainly a possibility. Has some lily pads, tons of floaters, goldfish. Goldfish and koi. Well, I'm afraid your goose is cooked. Snake. Goldfish and koi are bottom feeders. They are constantly stirring up the bottom. That is what they do. That is how they eat. You're never going to have it clear. So long as you have any kind of substrate in there. I'll tell you what you could do that would fix it. Put pebbles in. About an inch of pebbles, something big enough that they can't pick it up and that they will have difficulty swirling it around. Something marble size or bigger. I don't know how big your koi are, but if you put a layer of pebbles, larger pebbles, not little ones, on top of the substrate, they won't be able to root into it and dig down into it, and that will solve your problem. Until they get big enough that they can move rocks, then you're done. But that should solve the problem, at least for now. Nano Aquarium, hello, hello. Lots of life, all small fish. Oh, yeah, that'll work perfectly then. Mud with sand cap, lots of leaves. I don't want to touch it. Yeah, just add some large gravel to it, just right on the top, and that'll keep the koi and goldfish from rooting it up, because that's certainly what they're doing. Asialu Ellen, hello, hello, nice to see you. Nano Aquarium, hi there. Kenneth D. You know what I need to do is get over here where I can read more easily. Cody Fuller. For some reason, my chat is below the video. Just figured that out. Yeah, it's a matter of increasing the size of the video. If you hit Control+, it'll get you there. Shelby is not here yet. Kenneth D. Kenny. Wishing you and yours a day of love and happiness. Blessed to you, all beautiful fit keepers. Nice to see you, Kenneth. Sandy Shulman. Hello, Sandy. Benjamin Morgan. Where do you find blackworms? I like that question. I really do. Because you can find blackworms wild. You're not going to find a ton of them, but you can find them. Almost any body of water that has mud in it will have blackworms in it. There won't be a lot, but there will be some. If you will set up a resurrection jar. What's in this one? A resurrection jar. Get some mud from outside, some leaves, put them in it, and you will see worms. Now, you can culture them, kind of move them around, get them in different environments, and you'll be able to get enough to be able to feed. Oh, I see. I just saw one. To be able to feed them. You can buy them, but right now there's a real shortage. I see one. I'll never be able to show it to you. I can't get that in focus very well. Anyway, that's how you can find blackworms and begin to culture them. If you keep them in a tank with no fish and a dirt bottom, you'll get more of them. You can feed them. They eat bacteria. So, feed them just rotted leaves. They'll thrive in that. As I said, right now there's a shortage of blackworms. There's only, to my knowledge, one farm in the country, and that's in Northern California, that raises them and ships them. And right now they have everybody on restricted supply. My supplier, who in normal times gets 25 pounds a week in, is down to 5 pounds a week. They apparently lost everything and had to rebuild last winter. So it's a little slow coming back. I've been trying to encourage him to get out there and either buy the farm or figure out how it's done. He has a farm. In fact, this is a man named Rick, who's going to be with us on the 10th, 189, the 9th, on our NOAA program. It'll be 6 in the evening because we're going to be looking at his fish farm, his Florida farm. I'll get more information out about that as we get closer to it. But Rick's a really interesting guy. He's from Maryland by way of California. Let's see. EJ is saying he cultures blackworm, got him originally from his local fish store and used that as a starter culture. Snake saying, I love my tanks, thanks again. I have a 75-gallon with 200 fish, neons, guppies, snails, bristles, cories. Do a water change about once a year just because. The notion that a deep substrate can only have a few fish in it is something that somebody picked up watching a starter video about setting up a tank, in which it said start with a few fish. They took that as gospel that you can only have a few fish. Nonsense. You can have more fish in a dirted tank than you can in a gravel or a bare bottom tank. by a factor of however many plants you have in it. The more plants you have, the more fish you can have. And don't believe for 1 second that plants can't swim, fish can't swim through plants. They can and they do. And they have no trouble doing it. I remember when I was a child, used to visit my grandparents all summer long. They lived on a tributary of the Chesapeake Bay. It was called Cox, C-O-X, Cox Neck Creek. And I would go out every day and fish off my grandfather's sailboat that was sitting out in the water. And I would look down, and the water was crystal clear, and there were plants growing everywhere, just thick with plants coming almost all the way up to the top. And there were corridors in those tanks that the fish used as pathways. There were trails, fish trails in the thick plants. And of course, those thick plants were a nursery for everything: baby fish, shrimp, crabs, microfauna, you name it. So fish do fine the thicker the plant growth, and it will provide for more fish than as there are more plants. Snake is saying my piranhas love the Michigan night crawlers, I guess. I catch a few when it rains. Oh, well, everybody loves night crawlers. And boy, yeah, piranhas love them especially. You get to chew them up. Nice. Oh, Fishley, I'm having trouble staying on YouTube. My friend Nate says I need to get an apple in place of my Fire Stick. Don't know a thing about it. I had Roku for a while. I haven't used it in years. I just have online service. And it's through an antenna. The tower is about 500 yards to my northwest. So I'm close enough to get a pretty good signal, and I've got it beefed up. So I haven't had any trouble for a while. In medicine, James Green, decades ago, all operating rooms were on hospital roofs with skylights. This was due to studies showing the benefits to vision and surgical outcome. Sunlight has benefits. Wow, that's fascinating. That's really interesting. And it makes perfect sense to me. Whenever I can, I get sunlight. I have an eastern exposure here, but there are big trees right out in front of the window, so I get very diffused sunlight. I do get a little bit, really nothing direct to speak of. So it's still not really what I want. If I ever own this place, I can go down about 10, 12 more feet, and I'll be able to get some sunlight. For now, it's just kind of hopeless. I'm still looking for a place to move to. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm really just kind of jammed up here. I can't move into this house. The owner died, and his family has not got all of his stuff out. They've allowed me to continue renting the couple of rooms that I use, and I use the kitchen, the bathrooms, but I'm really not in a position to do anything with the rest of it. It's not mine, and it's not my property. So I'm still renting in a house that I would love to be able to move into, but I just can't do it yet. So if they sell it and don't sell it to me, I'll have to move out. So I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, Fishley, nice to see you. Mainstay. Hey, Jess, my Fire Stick doesn't do YouTube very well, but I have great Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi as well. EJ, can Neocaridina live with yo-yo loaches? I would be willing to bet that yo-yo loaches will eat shrimp. I might be wrong, but loaches are a bottom feeder, and they're burrowing all the time looking for little critters living in the sand. They will certainly eat baby shrimp. And if they get big enough, they're going to eat Neocaridina when they're smaller. I don't think it'll work. Try it and see. Put a few in with the yo-yo and see what happens. But my bet is they will make a meal on them. Kevin Rosemary. Hi, Kevin. Operating rooms went to the basement during the Cold War and has been there ever since. AJ's saying that they leave his manas alone. Well, maybe they will. Maybe they will. I think they're probably going to eat babies. How many cichlids? Oh, here we go. Kind of put in the 6 foot 150. I've got about 60 now. 6 foot 150. That's a lot, depending on the size. I wouldn't do much more than that. The problem is you can get away with it for a while, but there's a thing called a cascade effect. And a cascade effect can absolutely do you in. What happens is, if you get so many fish in there that the system is utterly dependent on the aeration in order to be able to keep adequate oxygen in there and to keep the water moving, so that CO2 is dissipating. If that pump quits, your fish are in trouble. And if the fish dies and you don't catch it immediately, it'll create a bacteria that will suck up oxygen and cause that cascade effect I mentioned, in which first one, then another, then 5, then 10, then 20, then everybody except one fish will die. There will always be one that will survive. Don't ask me why. I really don't know. But I've had it happen often enough. I know there's always one. You want to be able to keep a tank at a level where if all of the power goes out, what's in there can sustain itself. Now, with the big tank and big cichlids, that's not always possible. So it means you've got to keep a really good eye on it. With a lot of plants, that helps. With the deep substrate, it helps. But I've had deep substrate, big tank crash when the pump went out or the aeration went out, and I missed it for a day, just one day. Really, just 6 hours is about all it takes. And you can have an absolute catastrophe. So I remember seeing a tank somebody in Miami had. They had it online for years, a few years, not a lot of years. It had the most exquisite collection of cichlids in it. There must have been $25,000 worth of cichlids in probably a 200-gallon tank. It scared me silly Some of those fish were 1.5 feet long. Scared me to death. I sent notes to the guy more than once, telling him about the risk he was taking with all those magnificent fish. And he said, oh, well, I got lots of pumps and it's fine. And they're happy and healthy. And I do water changes once a week. Da-da, 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 da-da. He disappeared and his tank with him. And I can only imagine why. It's very, very risky overstocking a tank. As I've said, the more plants you can have, the more fish you can have. But the reason is the plants achieve a balance. They help you achieve a balance. So with that there, the discus and Maru, two of my favorite old-timers. Gotta look at these guys. I had an incident with them yesterday. Kenny was on Wednesday night, and by Thursday afternoon, I had one or two of them shimmying. A lot of them were at the surface. There was obviously a problem. I looked, and the air was off. So I put the air back on, but they didn't get better. Look at that frog. They didn't get better. And I realized that I had water in there that was reclaimed water. I didn't have the right bib fitting for my house water to be able to put real good quality water in. And I had done a water change about a month ago with reclaimed water from a tap outside. And they didn't like it very much. So I went to the hardware store and I bought a bib and I hooked everything up, got a new hose, and spent hours doing water changes on these few tanks to get them down. And the one that was shimmying, I moved him to another tank and he got better, so I put him back and they're doing fine. They got their color back. A couple of them had turned dark. The brown ones had turned black, which is a really good sign that they're very, very unhappy. But they seem to be fine now. Anyway, I realized I had to deal with that instantly, or I wasn't going to have them by today. So I got it done. Oh, the other thing I did, I now have a gray tank, whereas before I had a black tank. I did a lot of water changes. I made the mistake of putting biocarb in here. Now, biocarb is a material that's used in gardening. It's inert, it's carbon, but it has a lot of dust in it. It's very dusty. And I dumped it in there without rinsing it, and it turned it black. Well, while I was doing the water changes, I did a few major water changes in here, and I got it straightened out, more or less. So you can see the leaves now on the bottom. The purpose of this was to get a deep leaf substrate. I probably will do one more water change to get the rest of this up, because it's so fine it's not going to precipitate. So, and I think I lost my rainbows. I see the crebensis, I see the natives. I have 2 or 3 rainbows. I don't see them. So I may have lost them. Anyway, so there's that. I was looking in this tank for these gouramis, I have three of them. I did a big water change on this, and for the same reason, and I can only find one. The others may be in there, or I may have lost them. A friend of mine, Chris, who's a big fish breeder, he got about 25 of them. Did a water change and lost them all. So they don't like water changes. I've done very minor ones up to now, but because I put uh, that recycled water in, I think I've lost a couple of these. So I will replace them. That's a scarlet mattis right there. Valenti. I think it's a Valenti. I gotta get more. I did not lose the Stiphodon gobies. I saw all of them in here. I got 4 of them. So that was good. Anyway. Oh, Crystal D. When pouring a resurrection jar into an aquarium, should the dirt be poured in as well? If you do not, then you can refill it, reconstitute it, and keep it going. If you do, it'll settle out. So long as it's settled in the jar, it's going to settle in the tank. So it's not going to create a problem if you do that. I tend to do that more often than not. I tend to dump the dirt in as well. Let's see, I've got one here. This has Daphne in it, or it had Daphne in it. A few plants. This one's, oh yeah, I do see some Daphne. I'll tell you what, let me stir this. This is the way I like to do it. This has got fairly thick dirt on the bottom, so I'm not going to stir all of the dirt up. But I will stir it. And then let's dump some of it in here. Make a little room. And do this without falling over. And let's put some over here while I'm at it. Gotta pour it through a hole. Then I'll make that dirty again. Ugh. There, that's an adventure. So, let's see. You can see it settles out pretty quick. Makes it a little cloudy. This one is pretty much already settled out. I don't have a lot of fish in here. I'm going to get some rams and a pistos, I think, for this tank. I put a pot in here for this pleco, and he loves it. And I've got a female in here, so I'm hoping I'll get a spawn. There she is, right there. So this will certainly provide food for the gobies, as well as for the one gourami. Yeah, there he is up in the corner. Do not see another one. Could very well be in here. Could be in this flat nest. That happened when I did the water change. It kind of all got twisted up. I haven't gone in to clean it. But I don't see. Anyway, yeah, it's a little cloudy from doing that, but that's going to precipitate out very quickly. It'll be crystal clear in an hour or so. But it does provide a lot of natural food, particularly for these little guys, like the batis and the stiphodons and even the little gouramis. Another thing I'm doing for the gouramis is wingless fruit fly. I've got a couple of cultures here. They're just getting started. They really haven't got much happening yet. What are my weekend plans? I don't have any weekend plans. I'll tell you what I need to do next week. I now have orders for 20 pygmy sunfish. So I've got to go collecting. I've talked to a friend, Liz and Andy, about going with me next week to see if we can wrangle up about 50. If I can get 50, then that'll keep me going for a while. But I've got half of them already sold, which is exciting. But it means I gotta get out and collect them. I don't have any outdoor vats going with them in it. I need to get enough to do that so I can start breeding them and be able to have more in the fall and get it to the point where I can keep them going better. So I don't know about tomorrow. I don't have any plans yet for tomorrow or Sunday. I'll be with Mary doing a live stream Sunday night. Nothing else on the boards yet. Asaya needs more sunfish. Well, I'm going to have them next week. Do I refill the jar with wild water? No, not usually, although I can, actually. Trying to think of it because I've got some here. I don't know if I want to do that. This is uh, 5.8 pH. I kind of don't want to waste it. I got 2 gallons of it here. Usually what I do is just drain water from a tank into it, just siphon it out of a tank. Like so. Let's see. Let me give you a little instruction in siphoning. I got this in the water. I did a little tiny puff, internal suck, little tiny one. And you see what it did? I've got the hose holding it up above the water level. You see the water moving in it? So I have a siphon, just like that I can control. And I'll put it right in there, and there it goes. Get that filled up. So I never get water in my mouth. When I had people working for me at the shop, I would show them that, and I would say to them, okay, you've got once you can get water in your mouth. If you do it a second time, you're fired. There is no excuse for it. Simplest thing in the world. Let me do it again. You put one end in the water. You hold the other end up above the water level. Make sure the hose is empty. And do a little suck, little puff in. And there it is. I got a splash of water on the floor. Is that simple or what? And then to get rid of it, you just hold the whole hose up above the water level and it's gone. Very simple. That's a 1/2 inch hose, by the way. I think it's 1/2 inch. No, it's 3/4 inch. It's a 3/4 inch hose. Where's that water? There it is. Oh, listen, Everglade, I've got them. ABC, looking forward to having you with me on Monday night. That'll be 9 o'clock Monday evening. I was talking with Kenneth. With Kenny about that, and he said there are 2 other big tubers that are on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. So I may need to change that time, maybe set it up an hour earlier. But for this Monday, we'll do 9 o'clock Monday night with ABC, and it'll be the NOAA project. So we're gonna have NOAA ABC up, showing off his fish tanks and talking about um, how the hobby affects him and what he's doing in the hobby. Yeah, I'll be happy to ship you some Elisoma. Contact me on my email. FTHR. I need to key this in. Let me type this in. FTHRFISH at gmail.com. I made the mistake of upgrading to Windows 11, and when I did it, lost my email. Lost it, and stole it. It stole it and it lost it. So I can't use Father Fish anymore. I can't even use Father Fish at Gmail for some perverse reason. I have your email address. It's also have you on Discord. Yeah, DM me on Discord, and we'll talk about it. I'll work out something for you. Fish Ranch House just bought blue stones today and new filters. Well, God bless you, real good, Fish Ranch House. Asaya, I love the ones I brought inside for the winter. I don't want to send them out to the tub. I'll order next week and start another group outside. I know what you mean. Blue nose shiners. Yeah, I don't have any shiners in this part of Florida. I do have, I've been able to get back to them. I will by this summer, Everglade darters, which is a little, very plain darter, about 2 inches long, scoots along the bottom, a long, thin little darter. Have great patterning, not colorful at all, but just a really delightful little fish. And I did find a place where I can collect them in large numbers, large enough to be able to make them available. So I've tried to get them a couple of times since then, and I'm to the point where I simply have trouble managing myself. I'm overweight and my legs are weak. And it's very difficult. I finally got out and started walking today. So I'm going to be walking every day. I got to get some stamina and I got to get some of this weight off. My doctor has suggested diabetic medication that works really well, but it costs $1,000 a month. So I'm trying to get the paperwork done to be able to try to get approval to get that for less, for an affordable amount. I also don't have insurance for um, pharmaceuticals. I need to look into that because that'll cut it down. $200 a month that could swing, 1,000 it can. Let's see what else. Oh, FISHY. Valve all across the back half of my first 20-gallon Angel tank saved my fish from beginner mistakes such as overfeeding with frozen fried shrimp. In 72, I had a Dynaflow filter. Yeah, that's right. It's easy to do. And overfeeding is not simply a matter of putting food in that lays there because the fish can't eat it all. Overfeeding includes the fish eating too much, eating continuously because fish fish evacuate their food, they process it in about 2 hours, small fish do, which means you can feed them 12 times a day and they'll be hungry 12 times a day. But if you do that, you are certain to foul the tank because it'll create so much waste that your system simply won't be able to handle it. I don't care what system you got, it won't be able to handle it. So overfeeding is not simply putting more food in that they can eat at any one time. It's feeding so frequently that you're increasing the bio load to the point where it overwhelms the biology of the tank. Harlequin darter. No. Let me get a picture. Let's see, Everglades. Darter. Fish. Fish. Oh, here it is. That's what I'm talking about. It is. I'm not getting scientific name here. Yeah. There's some that have more color on them. This one really doesn't. That's pretty close to it. Oh, they caught that on a hook. Oh no, they baited it. Anyway, this is not it. It doesn't have that kind of color. That's further north in Florida, but it's protected. This one is the one that we get locally. I don't recall ever seeing these markings on the dorsal. May simply not have been in spawning condition. Now I've lost my doo-doo. Come on, boys. Crystal D. Saw an article the other day. You know, I need to get my book and look that up. I wonder if I can find it here. Hold on one second. Right back. Can't find it. Hmm. I got it. All right. This is no longer in print. It was published by some members of the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society. It is a collecting guide, Florida collecting guide of Florida's non-game fishes, which is primarily the ornamentals. And it's an amazing book. It has maps in it, there's charts, it has descriptions of environments, collecting techniques. I've been trying to get the guys to republish it. It costs them a lot of money to do it, and they haven't really been able. They've sold every one they've published, but a lot of it's been done by hand. So it's just been a real struggle. Let's see if I can find this in here. Sunfish, minnows and shiners. Here we go. Atheostoma fusiform. There it is. Right there. The fusiform. So Atheostoma. Currently have rainbows, fantails, johnnies, river wades, and roanoke. Nice. Oh, Leah's here. Hi, Lee. Nice to see you. What? He had a flood. Oh, my God. Kitchen ceiling fell in. Had to take tiles up. Oh, my God. Oh, that's terrible. Crown tail half moon. Do I have experience with color cross and mollies or swordtails? I did miss your question above, Crown tail. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've spent. Do you have any certain color crosses, mollies, and swords? G. It's something I've been doing since I was a child. There's nothing particularly sophisticated about it. The key is in calling, picking out the ones that are worth keeping. I moved my wire and screwed up my mic. Um, if you're going to do that, you either do it just for the sport of it or do it with something in mind. In other words, you do it to see what'll come out. Cross a red sword and a black sword. Or you do it looking for a particular characteristic or a particular kind of blend, like a half black sword, which probably doesn't exist anymore. That was one that we developed back in the 50s. What do we call it? A tuxedo sword, I think. It was half, its tail was black, maybe more than the tail. and it's the front of its body was red. Tuxedo sword, yeah. Um, yeah, there's a lot of fun in doing that. That's basically what the guppy business is all about. And you can get any number of mixes, particularly with platies and mollies. Mollies today come in, it's the Yucatan molly. So many different color morphs. It's like a rainbow. It is a rainbow. There's a rainbow of colors: red, yellow, black, green, blue, orange, white. What's another one? I said black. I said red, yellow, blue, green. I don't know about purple. Probably. Just amazing. A really wild variety of color, including speckles and spots and just you name it. It's really a big part of the fun of raising. Can pea puffer fish go with angels? Eventually, the angels will eat them. The angels will get big enough that they'll eat them. Pea puffers are pretty tiny. James Kite, hello, hello. Gage Ewalt, hello, hello. Let me give Gage a wrench. Get you colored up here, Gage. Let's see, Crystal. I saw an article the other day talking about how to treat a sick fish that's said to feed 3 to 5 times a day and do a 75% water change. I immediately wondered what you'd say to that. I'd say they're nuts. If you're going to feed a sick fish, first of all, depending on how sick it is, it isn't going to want to eat. And if it is, you need to feed it garlic or something, depending on the sickness, of course. But if it's like bloat or some kind of an internal bacteria, you need to deal with that. Generally, what I recommend, if a fish has an external injury or ick or something like that, if it's sick, you need to treat the tank. If it's something else like an injury and you take them out, the last thing in this world you want to do is put food in that tank, because it's a hospital tank. It doesn't have any biology in it. You may put a decent filter in there, but that isn't the same thing. So until the fish is healthy, he should not eat. So anybody who's saying that has got a very strange experience, or they really don't know what they're talking about. Either is possible. Ah, Chris, the CARES list. Wonderful. For those of you who don't know, the CARES list are endangered and otherwise protected species that are available to us as hobbyists to be able to maintain in order to be able to keep that species going. There are probably 1,000 fish currently in the hobby that are threatened to a greater or lesser degree in nature. Some of them become extinct almost by the day. So nearly any fish you have is likely to be a CARES type fish. Now, these on the list are those that are particularly designated as fish in need of support. I strongly recommend that you get involved in that program. Try to locate the fish. I can help you do that. Others can help you do that. And set up a tank with a CARES fish in it. Learn to keep it. Learn to breed it. Learn to get it to multiply. Learn to care for it. Learn to keep it long term. 2 to 5 years is a good long-term objective. Let's see. Hi, Sue. Nice to see you. Love you. Kevin Rosenberg. Do 200 chili rasboras. Do they what? Well, it's a good way to get your rams breeding in a community tank. They may not. Rams are very, very protective of their spawn to the point where they'll kill fish if they need to keep them away. But in a community tank, unless they can find a very quiet place where nobody else is coming around, they're not likely to even try because it's a wasted effort. If you got a pair that you think are ready to breed, set them up in a 10-gallon tank. Put a little stone in one corner. Do it as a deep substrate with a lot of plants. That way it'll be ready to grow babies in. Once the babies are free swimming, once they come up off the bottom, you then must remove either the babies or the parents, or they'll be gobbled up. They eat their babies as soon as they become free swimming, and then they spawn again in a week. Let's see. Lee says, I don't feed my fish or frogs. I don't do water changes. I sometimes put in crushed pea and occasionally minced garlic, but not in almost a year now. Tanks are crystal and lots of babies. Lee doesn't take care of his fish at all. See that? Provides no care at all. None. It's like they don't matter to him. I mean, it's really sad. Why in the world, Lee, do you do that? Why do you do that? Goodness sakes. I am so saddened by this. It reminds me of something that we all need to know about and need to be aware of. And I've got it right here. Here it is. This is what we need to learn.
Been sitting on my ass for an hour. I hardly said a word. I tried and tried, but I could not be heard. Why can't I explain? Why do I feel this way? 'Cause everything I say they don't understand, they don't realise, they take it all the wrong way. My frogs are mad at me. We argued just the other night. I thought we'd talked it out. We talked and talked until it was out. I thought we'd agreed. I thought they'd understand. But when I try to talk, they say I don't care. They say I'm unaware, and then they say I'm weak. Sucks to be me. I'm only doing my best for them. Hello, Mary.
I love it. You can catch that and a few others, actually a bunch of others, on my channel. If you'll scroll down to, what's it called? Music? It's not called music. What is it called? It's called Music and Poetry, I think. It's a playlist. Where is it? There it is. Poetry, Stories, and Music. And there are 38 offerings in there. All kinds of really cool stuff. So check it out. It's just so much fun. We're after 10 o'clock and we need to get off of here so we can go say hi to Lucas. Let me just try to finish up the list. I think I got it all. Used to call my live bears with club soda. They got high and went to sleep. Oh dear. Called one once I wanted to keep. Revived it by swishing it in the net back in the tank, and it was fine. Fascinating. All right. I don't know where our lovely Shelby is. I'll have to give her a call and see what's doing with her. I didn't talk to her this week, but I will give her a chat. Love you guys. We're going to run along. Plug into Emily. Hi, Emily. Plug into Lucas. He's up right now, I think. Let's see if he's... Yep, LRB. There he is. Let's go see. Let's go see Lucas. There he is. He's looking at us.
New fish for ick.
He's reading stuff.
While in QP, even if they don't show any signs. So
we got him.
No. I only treat.
Go say hi to Lucas. Love you all.
And the best.
Bye for now.
Now I know
I'll see you Sunday night with Mary, and then Monday night with ABC. And we need somebody to come up Wednesday. Somebody who's got a bit of a fish room. See you all then. God bless. Good night for now.
You empty all the water. Let me put